Hey, Casa Adobe Sunday School and families. Um, Happy Easter. We are still in Easter tide. And even though we're on the third Sunday, it is still Easter. And you know what we're doing? We're finding Jesus in the empty tomb all over the place. We keep discovering him. It's like an Easter egg hunt. And if you remember on Easter, I gave you all an Easter challenge to take pictures safely throughout your community or your house or your neighborhood, your backyard, with an Easter egg to represent Christ's presence in the community, the living Christ in the community. And so that's what we're celebrating during this time. So we keep hearing stories about Jesus in the community. And so remember on Easter Sunday, we heard that wonderful story about Mary Magdalene, who was lost and confused, and she saw the empty tomb. She didn't know what was going on. She goes outside. She sees someone she thinks is a gardener, and she says, "Where have you put my master?" And the person that she thinks is the gardener says, "Mary." And in just saying her name, she knows it's Jesus. And boom, all of a sudden she's able to recognize the risen Jesus. And so um, last week we heard a story about a friend of Jesus named Thomas. And Thomas's other friends, the disciples, saw that Jesus was alive, but he wasn't there. And he said, "I'm not going to believe it till I put my finger in his hands or my hand in his side." And then a little bit later, Jesus shows up and says, "Thomas, here's my hand. Touch me, touch me, and put your hand in my side. Touch me." And once Thomas sees that, he is able to see the risen Jesus and see that it is Jesus. This week, we have another story about two friends of Jesus on the same day, on Easter Sunday, walking down the street, and they're going to a different town. So they're going from Jerusalem to a place called Emmaus. So they're walking along, talking about everything that had been going on and these stories about people seeing Jesus. And all of a sudden, this person shows up who's walking along the road and says, "Hey, can I walk along with you?" I said, "Sure." "So what's going on? What's the news in Jerusalem?" They're like, "Oh my gosh, where have you been? You've been under a rock?" They crucified Jesus. They had arrested him and crucified him, and there was a big commotion. And now, we're trying to figure out, 'cause some people are saying, "Hey, maybe, Jesus is in the tomb," but we don't know. And so this stranger goes along walking, and they start talking about scripture and the Bible. And this stranger really, really has their attention. They finally get to where they're going, into this town called Emmaus. And the stranger says, "Okay, well, I'll let you guys be. I'm going to go off on my way." And they're like, "No, no, no, stay with us." They're hospitable. They want to share their hospitality with this stranger. And so he says, come eat with us. And the stranger says, "Okay." I want you to think about how hospitable that is. When you were in your school cafeteria, think about a stranger in the cafeteria. And if you invite them to sit with you at your table, that's a lot of hospitality. That makes people feel good. So the stranger comes and sits with them at the table. And during the meal, they order some bread. And while they're talking, the stranger takes the bread, and I got some bread right here. I'm gonna leave it wrapped up just to be sanitary. But the stranger took some bread, and what he did is he took it and blessed it and broke it and gave it to them. The minute that stranger did that with the bread, the disciples said, "Oh my gosh, it's Jesus." And it was Jesus. Oh, there's Jesus. And they recognized Jesus. And as soon as they recognized Jesus, boop, he was gone. He just disappeared. And so they were left in wonder, and they said, "You know what? We have to run back to Jerusalem and tell everyone that we saw Jesus alive." So what does this story mean? Well, it means that whenever we break the bread and we experience hospitality, we offer hospitality, that's where Jesus is alive. And the early church remembered that. And we remember that every time we do communion together and we break bread and give it away, we bless it, break it and give it away. Um, that is where Jesus lives. And so I want you to live into that moment of the recognition of living Jesus as we continue to celebrate Easter and the empty tomb. Thank you, and I will see you at Fun Day School this Sunday if you are available. And I pray for you all the time that you are all doing well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.